Hello， 各位朋友，大家好，我是胖达。今天很开心，我们要接待一位来自法国的贵宾，他是一位影像工作者，目前正在筹备一部关于矽胶娃娃的纪录片以及剧本创作。好，那就让我们跟娃娃一起做国民外交，跟全世界做朋友吧。Hello, welcome to KD-Doll channel. I'm your host, Panda.
Hi, Panda.
And welcome our friend from France.
Yeah,
Raphael.
Raphael, yes, that's me. I'm from Paris.
Great. So Raphael, how do you know our cafe?
So I was really interested in doing a project around dolls as a documentary filmmaker, and I stumbled on the Instagram page and I found it online, and I was super interested by it, and I just contacted you.
Oh, perfect. And when have you been to Taiwan, and where else have you visited in Taiwan?
So I've been in Taiwan for 2 months now. I'm leaving in 1.
Yeah?
So it's a 3-month trip, and I've been mainly based in Taipei.
Yeah.
But I have been to Taichung once before, so this is my second time, and to Hsinchu.
Yeah.
I pronounce it, yeah.
Great. And can you tell us about how people think about love dolls in France?
So I think what's very interesting for me here, and why I'm so interested to discovering this place, is that it's not just a place with dolls, but it's also a community where people who share this interest can meet. And I feel in France it's more taboo.
Yeah.
And I don't think in France there's like a place to meet during the day, which is just an open, light day place for people who are interested in this. So I think it's very interesting for that. Yeah.
What do you think about our doll communities in Taiwan?
So from what I grasped today, what's very interesting and very good surprise is how welcoming and warm everyone is, and how it feels like a place where people can be really accepted for their interest, for what they do, and it's very non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Which I find it feels very good.
So, will you ever think about to be a doll owners in the future, or what is your plan to making a film about love dolls?
Yeah, so I'm very interested in the relationship between human and artificial intelligence, human and machines, and how you can actually I think we'll be able to create very strong relationships with non-human synthetic forms. And yeah, I think the subject of doll making, but also the relationship with doll, is something I'd like to explore more in future films, because I think there's a lot to be said, and I think we're at the beginning of something.
Yeah. Can you tell us about your new project, your screenplay?
Yeah, so I'm writing a film, which is, I don't know when it's going to be produced, but anyway, I'm writing the screenplay. It's a science fiction film that happens in a near future, and it focuses on 2 things which I think are linked to some certain extent. The first one is, people said a film whose characters are all women, and they all focus on body modification. So it can be lip augmentation, it can be different types of plastic surgery, but the idea is that I think it's to show body modification in a normalized way as something you could do just for fun, just to show your identity, basically. And the second part of the film also shows people making dolls, making sex dolls. And I think both are linked, because in a way it shows kind of how these 2 subjects, which are taboo in their own way, or have some forms of judgment associated to them in some cultures, especially in Europe, but how you can just it can correspond to just a form of living your truth, really, and just being free about it.
Yeah, and you're talking about the main character of your screenplay. She's making a love doll, and what is her motivation?
So I think the idea is to what I find interesting is the idea of someone who's, they're going to be more less conventional love dolls, and they're going to have more extreme elements to it. And I think what's interesting for me is it's someone who does modification on her body and who experiments with making bodies. So it's kind of like the whole reflection around what's the body, what's the limits of the body, and also having a relationship with dolls to understand your relationship about yourself.
Yeah. And do you think this kind of synthetic intimacy can replace the real relation between people?
So I don't know if it's going to replace the relationship with people, but what I think is it creates another kind of interaction which is very valuable for many people.
Yeah.
So I think the way I see it anyway, it's not a question of like, let's replace all humans with dolls. It's more like the interaction you can have with dolls is a very specific and precious one, and it can be very important for people. And it's more about understanding this type of relationship and understanding that there are different types of relationships rather than putting everything in one category.
Yeah, thank you. And let's talk about your experience being a filmmaker.
Yeah, so right now what I'm focusing on, while I'm writing this longer screenplay, I'm focusing on a series of very short documentaries that are very immersive in the sense that they're very like scenes of life, where I kind of want people to forget that there's a camera and just exist, because I think that in this humanity, in this way of being, there's something that's very moving. And for instance, I'm very interested in if someone, for instance, is just dressing up their doll or like just they're filming their relationship with it. It's something that could be, I think is very, very moving. And I think I've focused on in the past shoots I've made on really people with often different passions. But I think what I'm interested in when people really have a strong passion, strong interest, and how this creates a very just almost hypnotic effect. Yeah.
Can you tell us your feeling after visiting our Love Doll Cafe and our doll hospital?
So I think the feeling I have is that it's the feeling of opening new doors. Like I realized that I didn't know that much about dolls before, and I needed to have. It's often like this for me. I think I need to see things and actually live them to understand them. And I think like by visiting this cafe, by visiting the doll hospital, it's really opened many doors. I need to still process everything, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell us more about the doll cultures in Europe as far as you know? Yeah.
So as far as I know, but I'm not by all means a doll expert or anything like that, so I might be saying stuff that's wrong. But from my knowledge of someone who isn't in a doll community, it feels like it's more marginalized in Europe. Like it feels like it's less out in the open. There's more taboo attached to it, and I think it's more of a private thing. Like to my knowledge, I've not heard of like spaces like this one in Europe, and I think it's very important because it shows that dolls aren't only about the love aspect, but it's also about many other things, and it's also a community.
Yeah. And I heard that you have been in Japan for many years. Do you know any kind of doll culture or communities in Japan?
So not personally, I've seen some elements of this.
Yeah.
But I haven't done projects around them or haven't had time. I think it wasn't the right moment for me. I think this today was the right moment for me to get to know doll communities more. Yeah, but I'm gonna be more curious about it next time. I'm gonna be in Japan in a month, and I'll be more curious about this at this point.
Okay, I would like to thank you, and I would like to invite you to visit our KD Doll shop, Taipei.
I'd love to do that. Thank you.
Okay, let's see you next time, guys. Goodbye. Rafael 的作品都会在 Instagram 上面发表，希望大家多多帮忙点赞支持哦。好，我们下次再见，拜拜。
我们是 KD 人形美术馆矽胶娃娃的第一品牌，不止国内外媒体争相报道，还是众多玩家一致肯定。我们的开箱频道已经超过500万次观看，全台湾北中南都有据点可以为你服务哦。不止这样，我们还有专属的娃娃修复医院以及娃娃脸妆创作，多次举办娃娃外拍活动，所以想要了解娃娃，想要购买娃娃，找我们就对了。有专业的客服手把手带你入门，还有我们都是亲自送货到府的哦。 买娃娃再也不用担心受骗，安全有保障，看得到摸得到，所见即所得。赶快联系我们的官方客服，漂亮的娃娃就等你来预约鉴赏哦。